You- Mhm.
Well, hello to you, and thank you
Mhm.
so much for being here. It's the Curt and Jen in the Morning, the podcast. We do it daily, week daily.
Yeah, yeah. And we love having you here every single day. We appreciate that. Please like, follow, subscribe, whatever you feel like doing. So we're here on a Tuesday now. And before we even get started, you want to say happy birthday to, we have a loyal listener named Laurel. Happy birthday. Are you going to sing happy birthday, Jen? No, you're not.
No, I'm just gonna wish Laurel a very, very happy birthday. I just think it's worth a shout out. We know that she listens every day with her husband Steve, so
Mm-hmm.
I think it's worth saying. You know what? We hope you have an
I
awesome, amazing, big celebration day that is all about you. There
and
you
I'm
go.
not glad that we're not going to have to sing. People don't want to hear that part, right?
And I also want to mention that since we live in Washington and it's the home of hundreds of
Mm-hmm.
wineries. Do you think it's even thousands? I'm not even sure. I should have looked that up. It's worth mentioning that it's National Drink Wine Day.
Yay!
Maybe make sure it's a Washington wine to support local.
There you go. All right. Coming up today on the podcast, we've got, and this is always embarrassing. I'm not going to look. Here's my phone. It's off. How many photos does the average person have on their camera roll on their phone?
I
We
will
actually have
just,
talked about this before when we were on the radio, Jen.
we did, and
Uh,
I can tell you that I bring up the national average.
okay. How about the cars with the fewest issues? Also, the cars with the most issues. And then
Yep.
your question, Jim, what was the question about?
Well, there's 5 questions that if you can answer them, you probably have a happier relationship than most.
Okay. These are questions about your partner, right?
Yeah.
All right, we'll get into that. Things that restaurant servers secretly hate, and you don't want to make your server mad, right?
Yep, and your travel tips. We got some good
Okay.
travel tips going.
All the above coming up. Let's get it underway, I guess. Um, you asked Jen what I did yesterday that was exciting.
Yeah, I always want to know what we always ask each other in the morning when we're getting ready for the show. I'm like, what'd you do yesterday that was exciting, Curt? Tell me. And
We went to the dump.
okay, well, you know what? That is freeing. You're like ridding yourself of a lot of
Yeah,
garbage.
yeah. This is up the airport road. Solid waste. I guess was that Mukilteo? No, maybe it's Everett. Or Linwood. Dana, every time we go, my wife is like, I should get a job at the dump because I think she's so satisfied by getting rid of stuff, you know? And although she has a lot of rules, by the way, because she'll see people that are just throwing away mattresses, like you can recycle that, it's just down the street. But she thinks that she would love to work at the dump. I'm
Oh my
glad
God,
that
I
she,
would 100% not want to work there. It's disgusting.
well, not if you sit in that little booth out there by the road.
I have good news.
What's that?
I finally got a dishwasher that works. It has been 15 days with no dishwasher, and I will tell you, I am grateful. I appreciate my dishwasher because my dishwasher was either me or Pat for the past, I don't even know how many, well, 15
15
days.
days
It's
at least.
15
Yeah.
days, yeah. And so, yeah, we finally got it delivered. I'm up north in Cedar Woolley, so Jackie, my roommate and friend, took possession of it, made sure the installers got it all in, took out the old one. Now we're on our way to not having to hand wash many dishes.
So neither of us really had an exciting day yesterday, is what we're saying.
Not really, because I was in Cedar Woolley and I helped lay some floor stuff for Pat.
Yeah, that's
Pat
a
got,
pretty. Go ahead.
well, I was just gonna say Pat made, was it 2 or 3 trips to the hardware store? 3 trips to the hardware store.
That sounds about right. You get halfway through a project. Oh crap! I need this.
He got real mad because he was kept breaking bits trying to hang some cabinets. Anyway, nothing very exciting. We can move on.
Okay, for both of us, I like it.
I've been shopping for cars, Curt. I think you know that
Mhm.
because the Party Pilot is kind of on its last party, which is so sad to me.
Well, how many miles again? 300,000 or something?
Almost 300. I think it's 290,000 miles on it.
It's had
It's
its
been
fair
a
share
great
of
car.
parties. Yeah,
But
it's been partying for a long time.
yeah, it has.
So you're looking for cars, and we have here for people that might be looking for cars, vehicles with the fewest issues, the ones with the most. We're not going to go into
For
great detail about
2025.
this.
This is for the year 2025,
Mhm.
which I will not be buying a new vehicle. Is
Well,
that
this
right?
okay. Well, it analyzed the durability of 3-year-old cars. So
Oh, okay.
it just came out, but this is for the model year 2022.
Okay.
Lexus was the top ranking brand for a third consecutive year as cars with the fewest issues. It was followed by Buick, Mazda, Toyota, and Cadillac.
Wow.
No
Okay.
Honda. That's surprising because you hear about how reliable they are.
Yeah.
Of all 30 brands, Volkswagen ranked last.
Oh my God, that's funny. You know what? I asked one of my mechanic friends that I've had for a little while. I
Mhm.
said, I'm looking for a car. How much would you charge me to do the once over on it? You know what I mean? Like if I decide that I think I like a car, will you look at it and just see if there's nothing
Yeah.
really bad?
Right.
And I said, and do you have any recommendations on what I should be looking at or not? And all he said is, do not buy a Volkswagen.
Mm,
That's what he said.
bad
Sorry,
rep.
Volkswagen, because I really wanted to buy an Atlas.
Well, but we also, according to this list, the other, this is, and again, this is the fewest issues. Last on the list was also Chrysler, Jeep, Audi, and Land Rover. That doesn't mean you can't get those. That just means that be prepared, I guess, right? If you really, really
Well,
like it.
and you know what? This is specifically for 2022.
Right.
Like Pat has my boyfriend Pat, he has a Volkswagen Passat,
Hmm.
and it's been great for him. He loves
Yeah.
it. Super
I think,
reliable.
and Dana used to drive a Touareg and she loved it. But maybe
There's,
we're the two that got lucky with our Volkswagens. I don't
I
know.
guess, yeah.
I don't know. Good luck finding a car.
Thanks. All right. So
Hmm.
there is this guy named Mark Travers. He is a psychologist who studies couples and
Okay.
says that ones who can answer these 5 questions have happier relationships than most. And I will tell you that Pat and I have taken advantage of learning more about each other based on this list because we could not answer all of these questions. So I'm anxious to, as you kind of go through these, could you answer these for Dana, do you think?
Okay.
And
Let's get
these are
started here.
questions that are beyond like, what's your favorite food? What's your favorite TV
Right.
show? No, these are like we were having some, we didn't get through all the questions yesterday. We kind of took advantage of the car time driving to the hardware stores to
Right.
go through some of these. So here they are.
And
What's
again,
a,
these are questions that you ask your partner, and depending on how they answer, it's going to
no, no, no,
determine,
no. It's
well, if
can
you
you
know the
answer
answer.
them? Can you answer them about your partner?
Okay, great. Sorry,
Okay.
there. Go ahead.
What's a seemingly small interaction that left a lasting impact on them? So, if you know about one of these small core memories in your partner's life, it means you've had the kind of deep conversations that reveal the invisible threads of their personhood.
Yeah, and they had an example in there, like if they got a word of advice from like a teacher, or if you can point to a point in your life where something happened, you're like, wow.
That
And
is,
mhm.
yeah, that was one of the questions that I could answer for about Pat. And I said, I told him, I said, I think this is right. It's when your now ex father in law, I think it was his ex-father-in-law or maybe grandpa-in-law, I can't remember, said to him when he was passing by a fire station, he's like, why don't you become a firefighter?
Mhm.
Because he was kind of
There it
at this
was.
crossing point in his career, like, I don't want to be a machinist like the rest of my life.
Right.
And so he took that advice.
Nice.
Okay, here we go.
They have more on here. Did you want to do this, or
No, go ahead.
if you can know your partners, what's their go-to mental escape and when they're feeling overwhelmed? Like when life gets a little hectic, everyone has their own way of sort of mentally checking out. And if you know that answer of what your partner does, it means you understand their inner workings, and that's a rare kind of closeness if you can do that.
Do you know what Dana's go-to escape is?
I know what and I would say, yeah, you know what it is for her? It's cooking and baking.
Oh,
That's what she does when she wants to, it's like, okay, I need a little mental escape here. If you also know about your partner, what's a social situation they secretly dread but will never admit to?
that's a good question.
We all have social scenarios that make us feel uneasy. Knowing what makes your partner uncomfortable means you can be a source of support in situations where they might otherwise just grin and bear it.
Okay, here's the last two. What's a habit they picked up from their parents that they wish they could break? That's a
Hmm.
good question. If you know what habit your partner struggles with, it means you've had the vulnerable conversations about the family dynamics that shaped them into who they are today. And these are
Yep.
the kind of details that most people don't get a chance to learn or simply don't even care about.
And finally, if you know this about your partner, this is a good thing. What's a moment that your partner felt truly proud of themselves but never brag about? That's something also I try to compliment Dana or just remind her, oh, that you did a great job on that or whatever.
Yeah.
So And sometimes I'm sure she knows, but it's still nice to hear. But they say that kind of trust is invaluable in a relationship. So overall, you didn't get through all the questions you said yesterday with you and Pat?
We didn't get through all of them. We just got through we're on the third one though. The social situations you dread.
Okay. Well, I want to hear
It's
the results.
Mark, the guy that put the psychologist who put this together, said, you know what? If you don't know the answers, it's a perfect excuse to start asking and talking about them. So
Look at that.
not like you have a
Love it.
terrible relationship. It's just that these are questions to bring you closer.
Not that you have a terrible relationship. Sorry. Your relationship is terrible. All right. Photos on your phone. Pictures on your phone.
Okay.
I don't even know if mine tells me how many I have. I am looking.
Okay, I thought you're not supposed to look. Here's the thing. Don't look at your phone yet. Here's the question. How many photos do you think you have in your camera roll right now as your phone stands? Would you say it's more or less than 1,600?
I'm sure it's more than 1,600.
Mine's for sure more than 1,600.
Well, that's what they say. That's sort of the breaking point of 1,600 photos is where they say, I guess that's the typical person has about that much on their phone, which is crazy. 1,600 is crazy, but I want to hear what you have, Jen. I'm going to see if I can find out what mine is.
Well, and this breaks down by age. Millennials will have the most with just over 2,500 is what this says. Photos of family are the most common pictures that we have on our phones. Pictures from celebrations, holidays, cool views. And they didn't say what percentage of his of pictures are of our pets.
All right. I just got my number.
How often, Curt, do you actually go back and look through those photos?
Well, and that's the thing. I usually, you know, I go through those photos when I'm looking for a photo from like a year and a half ago. I'm like, when zing, 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 you know, like just through the pages. I don't actually go back and look at the photos. And typically, maybe this is the case with you too. There's not just one photo of, oh, here's a cute picture of Bella. There are like 7 that we took, you know, and all 7 of them are still on there because we didn't bother to get rid of the bad ones. So it's, yeah. Do you ever print the photos up off of your phone?
Yeah, sometimes I actually do because I have these fun frames that have like these little clothespins on them, and you can change them out, and it says like blessed in the middle. And so I gave one to my mom, and so I'll occasionally go through and print out a handful of pictures for us to replace those. Not very often. Okay, my number on my phone, you want me to tell you?
Well, I think that mine is less than yours, so I'll go with mine first.
Okay.
6,198.
You just shut your mouth right now.
Yep.
Mine's less.
Yours less?
Less. Mine is 5,716.
What was the thing? I thought we did a thing about a year ago on the show on the radio where you were like at 13,000 or something like that.
I was. And my daughter, Riley, my oldest daughter, Riley, was listening and said, Mom, that's ridiculous. Oh, it's because my phone started stroking out. She's like, Mom, your phone's stroking out because you have so many photos and videos on your phone. So we cleaned them up and moved them over. I now pay money to store my photos on Google.
Wow. You know what? I guess I need to go through mine as well. I've got the time, right?
Right.
Right? Why not?
All right.
6,000. Okay.
You know, I wanted to add to this. I'm sorry. I wanted to add that my daughter Macy has this tiny little printer, and she prints photos off her phone and then puts them in her iPod case and not her iPod case, her iPhone case and her the tablet thing.
Yeah, I'm all for printing them up, you know, especially since you can do it relatively inexpensively at your house. You don't have to go to, I'm going to date myself. You don't have to go to the photo mat or the photo booth.
Oh, geez.
Have them printed up. Yeah.
This is a nice story. I like this.
This is a story, a local story. If you live in the Pacific Northwest, particularly up where we live in the Seattle area, you know about how much people love the orcas around the area here and the different pods. And I mean, our friends, well, Alan from Kent and Allen in the Morning, his wife Lodi.
I was just going to mention that.
They retired on Friday Harbor in the San Juans, and they see the whales go by, you know, all the time, I guess, the pod. So anyway, there's a brand new baby pod, a baby calf in the J pod, and it's a female.
Yay,
That's
a
what the
little
news
baby
is.
girl.
I guess they have to confirm it's a female by somehow getting close enough to find out. And so they cited the new female is called J62 or J62.
Just a
That's how they give them
number.
all their names, the pod and then a number. Appeared to be doing well and is filling out nicely. Seen bouncing around with the J19s, a different pod, while the pod appeared to be resting. So they did find out that indeed J62, the new calf, is a girl.
I love that. And you mentioned Lodi. I mean, Lodi not only loves watching whales, she is passionate, passionate about whales and their well-being and preserving them, because we're not doing them any favors. So
my question is there a difference between an orca and a killer whale, or are those just two different names? I thought that was two different names for the same. Because killer whale is not exactly the, I mean, if you want to be a badass in the ocean, yeah, I'm the killer whale. But otherwise, I don't think I want to be a killer anything. So do you know, is an orca different than a killer whale?
is a killer whale the same as an orca whale? I'm asking Siri.
I could have done that.
A killer whale is the same as an orca whale. Both names refer to the largest member of the oceanic dolphin family.
All right.
There you go. Thanks, Siri.
Thanks, Siri.
All right. The most popular Marvel characters. Now, I will say that this is a list of 178 characters. We will not be listing all of them. We will be listing the top 10. And if you are a Marvel fan and want to know in order the most popular Marvel characters, according to, I don't even know what, a poll.
This was,
look it up.
Ironically, the number one most popular Marvel character. Do we want to save that for last? I guess it's a surprise.
Yeah, that's a good one. I love that it's number one.
We'll go in reverse order from number 10. All right, to number one, and this is what they're saying: most popular Marvel characters. Number 10 is Groot. I am Groot. Deadpool is number 9. Rocket Raccoon, also along with Groot from what was that? Guardians of the Galaxy. Number 8. Doctor Strange is number 7. Loki came in as the 6th most popular Marvel character. Thor.
Thor is number 5. Yes, I like Thor. Then there's Captain America. Okay, so it says Captain America / Steve Rogers. That's his regular name, right?
Yeah.
And then Spider-Man, Peter Parker.
Peter Parker. That's number 3.
Number 2 is Iron Man, Tony Stark. And who's number 1?
Who could be more popular than Iron Man? Well, Stan Lee, the man who made it all possible, the creator, inventor, if you will.
Did you know that there's Stan Lee appears in, like, makes a appearance, or at least made an appearance in all the movies?
Yeah, and the first time I saw it was, I don't remember what movie it was, but I was like, oh, there he is. That's kind of cool that he puts himself in there. So that doesn't mean that your favorite Marvel character is no good. I didn't understand why Wolverine doesn't appear on the list anywhere. And then I looked up, I was like, is Wolverine not Marvel Cinematic Universe? But it turns out that he is.
And he's not on the list of 178?
That's what it says. A list of 178. There's one glaring omission. Wolverine doesn't appear anywhere on it.
Well, that's weird.
Maybe people really don't like him. That can't be right.
I
can't believe there's 178 different characters even.
I can believe that. I wouldn't even come close to being able to name it, though.
I'm the top 5 I've got. Beyond that, I'm probably out of the race. Our question of the day, the Curt and Jen in the morning question of the day from yesterday. We asked you to share with us travel tips.
I love traveling, so this is right up my alley. I can say this, that the first person that responded is a travel agent, or not a travel agent, a flight attendant.
Okay.
Her name's Anissa. She said, buy a seat for your child under 2.
So let me ask. So since I've never taken children anywhere, do some people just have them sit in your lap and that counts as where they go?
You can, yes. That is legal. So, but she's saying, buy a seat for them. And that's true. Just buck up and buy a seat.
Okay. Jeanette said, get an emotional support flight attendant. Mine is named Anissa. So they're friends. Nice.
They're friends.
Sonia, and these are tips for traveling. Most of these have to do with flights, but some of these are things you may not have thought of. But Sonia says, get a TSA pre-check, clear, and Alaska Lounge access. It's all worth it.
Amen.
That's true.
Yeah.
TSA pre-check in particular, and I like going to the lounges, no question.
I've never been to the lounge. Oh. Well, maybe one time. Okay. Shelly said, bring snacks from home. I just paid $8 for peanut M&Ms at the airport.
which today I think that's the average for peanut M&Ms anywhere.
I mean, that seems a
Ah,
little inflated.
Cindy says, be flexible. Sometimes things happen. Don't let it ruin your trip. Right.
Amen. There's gonna be stuff that happens.
Yeah.
Janelle said, take your Yeti water bottle on, or any water bottle, put solid ice cubes from home in it. Um, you can get that through the airport, and yes, a security point, TSA approved. They let it go through, and
Yeah. And
then
then you go to
fill
one
it
of
at the water station. And also pack snacks. Okay, yeah. Go to the dollar store for cheap snacks, sweet and salty.
the.
I
Also, by
don't
the
know
way,
about Brian's.
here's the tip. Brian just says, don't travel. Thanks, Brian.
I don't
Uh,
think that that's a good answer.
Here's one that I do, and I don't know if this matters to anybody else, but Janelle said put solid ice cubes in your water bottle. Of course, you can't take, what is it, 3 ounces or less is what you can
Yeah,
take through.
yeah.
I will put, like, a couple squeezes of lemon juice in the bottle. That's it. And then when I get to the airport rather, then I fill it up and you've got lemon water,
Oh,
which
yeah.
which is better than regular water in my opinion.
I like.
Jenny,
Yeah.
wear something outrageous to stand out. If anything goes wrong and they want to watch tapes, it's much easier to find you. It's also easier to find you if you do something wrong.
Right. It
The
said
person,
she said it helped her a lot. I also had on a bright let's see. I had on bright orange with luggage that had lips on it, so they found me quickly. I wonder
nice.
what happened.
Hmm. Dave says pay extra for direct flights, but if you do have a long layover, pay to access an airport lounge. Just another one. Yeah.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Splurge on
Shannon's,
splurge on special experiences. Not everything is worth extra money, but once in a lifetime experiences are. That was from Shannon. And then Kate said, keep a travel journal. It helps you remember things better. And sometimes it's better than just looking back at pictures. It kind of, lets you know a little bit more about how you were feeling and what you thought.
yeah. Speaking of what Shannon said about splurging, we kind of have that rule too. It's hard not to look at prices or whatever, like when you're wherever you are. Say you're in Europe, or it doesn't matter when you're on vacation. It's like we're like, well, we're not gonna use that logic when we're on vacation, unless it's something stupid expensive. But
And
if you're going,
yeah,
yeah,
I tend to look at prices, and we were in Italy, in Florence specifically, and I totally forgot to buy tickets to, I'm spacing where the statue of David is. Anyway, I forgot to buy tickets and they were sold out. So of course there were these street people selling tickets at a very inflated price. And Pat said, babe, this is one of the things that you wanted to do while we were here is see David. We're just gonna suck it up and buy
from the scalpers,
yeah,
the,
basically.
the Italian scalpers getting your dollars.
Plan ahead really is that lesson.
Are these secrets? I guess they are.
No,
Things.
well, I don't know that they're secrets necessarily.
Okay, but this is some insight from servers and restaurants and bars. These are things restaurant servers secretly hate, and believe me, they have plenty of reason to hate some of these things.
But they're never going to complain about it. This is why they're probably secret, because they're working for a tip, right? So they're not going to complain about things.
Right, and this was
But there's plenty of things that we complain about as customers, and someone asked servers to name the top things they secretly hate.
when you walk in and sit at a table that hasn't been cleared. If it's got dirty dishes on it, it's obviously not ready. That's hard not to. But the only time that I would do that is if everything else was taken. It's like,
Yeah,
well, we got to grab this table before somebody else does.
that's exactly what I was gonna say. It's not like
Yeah.
we're like trying to break rules, but if you're trying to find us, if it's like open seating, it's like, okay, there's a table there, let's take it. I'll even help clear it. Like, tell me where the dishes go, give me the dish rag, I'll do
That is
it.
true. I've seen that actually happen. When people sit, this is another restaurant server, that they dislike. When people insist on sitting outside, then complain about the temperature, the noise, or the bugs. It's like you wanted to sit outside. Who would do that? Who would ask for outside and then say, "Ugh, there's too many bugs"?
I would never do this, and I cannot believe that people would. Grabbing your own plate or drink off the tray they're holding. It seems like you're
Hmm.
helping, but of course, it can throw everything off. They know how they're balancing everything on that tray, which is amazing to me many times.
Right.
Go grab.
I've actually been chastised a little bit for trying to organize the plates before I hand it to them, but to clear it away. That they have their system. They don't want me stacking plates and then handing it to them to, carry it
Oh, I
away.
try to do that too. Like I try to tidy up the table for them.
Well, I don't know. Maybe this was just a grumpy person. Like, you know what? I'll just do it myself. Thank you. So, also some of the things that servers secretly hate, parents who let their kids throw stuff everywhere. That seems like that would be something people would hate regardless of where you work.
Well, and it's not teaching good habits when you go out at restaurants or any eating habit for that matter.
Right. Uh,
When people don't say please or thank you, some people just say, I'll have this or I want that.
right. How about, snapping or whistling to get someone's attention? That I would be like, well, if you're the server, you have to go to that table anyway. But I'd be like, come on, man.
They say a wave is fine. If they don't see
Okay.
you at first, give them a minute. You're probably not the only table. Well, we know that, but
Right. Acting like you're a regular when you're not really a regular. I mean, I can go into Sean O'Donnell's. We can go into Sean O'Donnell's, and they know who we are. There, but I guess some people walk in like, "Hey, it's me, Steve. Remember, wanting special treatment."
they define a regular as once a week, you're a regular. Once a month, maybe.
Yeah, that might be pushing the boundaries.
Yeah.
Also on the list, things that servers hate: complaining about the prices, like the servers have any control over that. No.
Now, I don't know about this next one because, okay, it says when you come in 15 minutes before they close.
Hmm.
Yes, everyone in the kitchen hates you too. If you want to go home earlier, then close earlier
Right.
because those are the hours, right? I mean, I think that if you're a restaurant, you have to know that you're going to be there longer.
Right.
If you close at 9, you're probably going to be there till about 10. Well, maybe longer, but you know what I mean?
Right. And well, I'll tell you what, I have an interesting. Well, here's two things. First of all, I think if they say they close at, I don't know, 8 o'clock, just a round number. I think that the staff there, they're going to be there till like 9 o'clock, 9:30 anyway, wrapping things up. I think my experience has been, and maybe that again, they secretly hate. Of course, if you walk in at 5 minutes to close, you're going to go, oh, great. But I think that's kind of part of the deal, right? We try not to do that because it seems like a jerk move anyway. However, real quick, and this will be the last, since we're on our last one here. We were not long ago when we were in Florida visiting my family. Dane and I were looking for a restaurant to go to, and we found one. It was interesting because all the other restaurants around it were not open for. It was like 2 o'clock in the afternoon. They weren't open, but this one restaurant was. So we went in there, and they said, "Yeah, we're actually closing in 5 minutes." And we're like, okay. They said, but here's a table. They took us to the table. All right. So we're like, okay, it must not be that big of a deal. And I kid you not about this. The music was just background music in this restaurant was just like typical background music. All of a sudden, you hear from the back, from the crew in the back and the chefs, they start playing the FU song from CeeLo Green, Forget You.
I know what you're talking
Well,
about.
they were playing the original one, which has the F bomb in it. And we're like, is that for us? Because they're playing it really loud. Like we came in at the last minute and then they played it again. And
I
then,
don't like it. I don't like it. Your hours are your hours. Be willing to
well,
serve up until then, or put on the website. We close
right,
at 8, but we're only seating until we stop. Our last seating is at 8:45. But make it very clear on the website
last
and any
seating.
and all communication.
Well, I wasn't even done with that story yet.
Oh, I'm sorry. I thought you were.
No, because after that, they played Closing Time by Semisonic. So I couldn't help but
Shut
think,
up.
I could not help but think, oh, okay, that's for us. That's for us.
Don't get rid of that. I wanted that on there because that's the one I relate to.
Okay, all right. So but I'm asking you now if you feel like they were telling us, hey, this is for you guys for coming into the last
100%.
minute.
Yes, they
All right.
were, Kurt. That was
You know
absolutely
what?
for you. Did you get to order food?
Yeah, yeah. I mean, the server was really pleasant, really pleasant. But we're sorry we came in last minute. Nothing else was open. That's fine. And all of a sudden, F you.
Yeah, and
Goodbye.
closing time. That's okay. I am guilty of this because when my plate is like pretty much licked clean and they said, "How was everything? Did everything taste good?"
Hmm.
And I'm like sometimes I'll say, "No, I absolutely hated it." Well, the servers hate when you say that. And I say servers, then don't ask. Because if it's obvious that I loved it because my plate is totally licked clean,
Mm.
they said they'll give you a laugh, but they've heard it a million times, so don't say it anymore.
uh, I don't. I think that they just say that to be. That's kind of. I don't think it's that unusual. Just like if you say to somebody, "Hey, how you doing?" You don't really want to know how they're doing. You're just like,
Then don't ask.
oh, well, that's what I'm saying. I think it's kind of a greeting, but I suppose that they have to ask that. Listen, look at Jen getting all mad for being
I'm
asked.
kind of annoyed at this list.
Just because you did a joke they didn't like, and you're like,
Number one, just don't ask. And number two, change your closing time or your seating time and make it very clear to everybody that would look anything up about your restaurant and wanting to know about times. Put it on your signage outside, put it on your signage inside, put it on your website, put it on your social media.
Yep, that's we actually have a story about that real quick. I mean, we called ahead to say how late do you open, and they said 7 o'clock. Okay, great. We got there at 6:30, and they said, well, we stopped serving at 6:30. It's like you should have told us that on the phone. I mean, maybe I needed to phrase my question differently as to when do you stop serving?
You don't.
Yeah, that was frustrating. All right, we got to move on from this because we're getting too steamed. Time for our question of the day. Thank you for participating. Tomorrow, you'll be hearing your responses to this question that Jen came up with, which I love.
What has your partner banned you from buying?
Do you know what mine is?
Is it guitars?
Yep.
Dana said no more guitars.
No more guitars. I mean, I think she wants me to find like a real job first, one of those things.
What?
But, no, I'm kidding.
How many guitars do you have, Curt Cruz?
I don't know, 30. It's a collection. 25. More than 20. How's that?
I bet it's more like 30.
You're probably right. Anyway.
What has your partner banned you from buying? That is what we want to know from you. We will post it on the Curt and Jen in the Morning. That is how you find us on Facebook, Curt and Jen in the Morning. Or I always post it on my personal page. You can go to that too, Jen Pirak.
Did you have one you wanted to share that you've been banned from buying? Is it shoes?
No. He hasn't banned me from buying anything. I should ban myself from buying stuff like clothes and shoes.
You guys been dating for a while. I need to have a talk with Pat. It's like, you can tell her.
Maybe glassy babies.
Oh, that's probably it.
I love glassy babies. They bring me much joy. He would never say not to buy anymore or get any more.
I would say the same for guitars, right?
Okay. All right.
Difference in price, I suppose. Price
there's your question. We want to know your answer. Thank you so much for being here. We appreciate us getting to be part of your daily routine.
Okay.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Is that how you say that?
We appreciate, we don't have to, I guess the us could go away. We appreciate being part of your daily routine. Please keep listening, liking, following, all of the above. We'll love you even more for that. Come on, Jen. Time to wrap it up.
It's only Tuesday. Make good choices, find joy, spread kindness, and find ways to laugh.
Laugh.